Bernard, I believe you will lead us to the next section.
Yes. So thank you very much for both the professors and Gayatri's for leading this part. So the next part, I just want to spend about 10 minutes to just give you a quick update on what the club has done recently in the last year and where we are at right now. So the first slide is, let's move to the second slide. Yeah, so I think I want to re-emphasize what the existence of the club, the mission is. We just very simple, try to engage and inspire alum, support to MIT and make a better world. So with that, I want to thank the list of people for the past year who have supported us as the board of directors and head by the chairman, Paul. And this set of folks is set to expire by June 30th. And we are in a process of putting together the next board, the board for the next year. The happy news is the majority of the folks on the list are committed and to continue to serve. There is a few perhaps turnover due to time availabilities that we will follow our bylaw to replace any vacant slot. So next slide, please. So this slide I presented a year ago, meant to think about on the high level what the clubs plan on doing. And you can see on top 4,000 registration, we measure the number of people participate in our club activity through the registration data. We aim to engage around 2,300 unique alumni via our activities. And we want to get to 700 pay member. And I will cover it a little bit more in the future slide. So we focused very much the past year on trying to build meaningful and fun experience for all our volunteers. We have aimed to double the volunteer base, and happily to report, we increased our core volunteer from about 25-ish to now over 50. As I go around and talk to the various departments, various VP, they told me actually their ideal organizations will require us to triple to around 75 people. So in the coming year, we will want to continue the effort to get more engaged, even more alum to help us put meaningful, fun program for all of us. And in the meantime, the focus of the club for better world, via community service to our local community, as well as raising money to increase the endowments we have. We are one of the 13 MIT club has endowment fund to support needy students, local students to join MIT. So we want to continue that effort. And last year, we started a new initiative focused on the bio area. And in this presentation later, you will hear the leaders on that effort. And we continuously increase our partnership with many MIT departments, research institute, to help us make this happen. As we grow the number of volunteers we have more internal tension, kind of like growing campaign. As more people join, more people have more ideas and stretching different part of our resources base. And so we, in the coming year, is focusing on harmonizing that internal tension by further recruiting more volunteer as well as smarter balance of internal resources. And as I mentioned, we will grow stronger by deepening our newfound relationship with MIT AA, and more MIT Club over the last year has started to share the program. And that put a lot of strain in terms of how do we manage the communication of all these different programs to all of you. And so we are working on how to better do that, as well as engaging more MIT departments, research institute to help us move forward, bringing more meaningful program. Next slide, please. As you can see in here, the last 4 years, in terms of number of alum engagement measured by registration, you can see we grow from 1,500-ish to 38 in 2 years ago. Last year, with virtual program, we have a gangbuster years. And this year, we have 3,800-ish. As of April, with 2 more months to go, I'm sure we can hit our goal of 4,000. And as you can also see, over the years, in-person events was the core. And then we switched from in-persons and virtuals in 2020. And last year is 100%, almost 100% is virtual program. And starting this year, in the recent month, more in-person program are coming in. And so as you can see from the number, about 10% of the participation now is in person. And we certainly expect if the pandemics continue to be under control, we are moving to open up more and more in-person event. And the good part is you can see we engage with virtual programs and in-person program, we are doing much better than what we have done in fiscal year 19. Next, please. This gives you a few of the different major activities that the club produce with Boston Speaker Series, a lot of enrichment programs in lecture and tour, food and beverage. We cannot do without, take a look at 2021, 3,000 engagement. So when people cannot go out to eat, so we engage a lot of people virtually via food and entertainment program. And as you can see, social program mixer, social program through sports and outdoor activity, of course, that was seriously hurt in terms of number of participation. We are doing reasonably well with community service. As you can see, we maintain and grow and do better than 2019, even in the past 2 years. And you will hear from Bonnie covering some of the work that we have done in community service, the Better World part. And then we are doing some special program, and you will hear the new initiative later on in the bio field. And then the annual meetings, we always have good attendance. And the number I put down, 150, is several days ago. As of now, I think we have over 230, or maybe even more. So these are the various programs, and you can see the trend, and it go up and down at different period of time. We are certainly now emerging out of COVID. Next. One of the things we are not doing as well, and certainly missing our goal of reaching 700 pay member. You can see from the last 5 years, what's the trend is. We have done very well in 2020s, quite well in 2019, but with COVID, you can see our pay membership significantly drop back to about 500 50. And our goal is to get ourselves back up in the coming year to 700 by better communication with the local community, as well as better programming. Next, this is the next slide, please. The last slide I want to show is these are the various membership type and the dollar amount people pay as a regular member, $35. And you can see we have a sizable number of people paying more, 100, 200, even 500 a year for that. And I do want to point out the money of $35 is used to sustain what the club do. Any money above 35 all go to the scholarship fund, increase and our endowment, and you will see the change that has been making. So I would strongly encourage, as we try to get ourselves back up to 700, encouraging more people to go beyond the regular membership, and any dollars above 35 go into the scholarship fund to support a local needy student to join MIT. So with that, I want to pass to Bonnie to talk about community service.
Thank you, Bernard. Could we go to the next slide, please? So the MIT Club of Boston for a number of years now has been sponsoring local teachers to participate in MIT's science and engineering program for teachers. And the science and engineering program for teachers is a week-long program that takes place on the MIT campus. It's akin to getting a drink from the fire hose. Teachers are exposed to a number of opportunities to interact with MIT faculty, with MIT students, to really learn about some of the innovative things that are happening on campus, and to have hands-on experience. And they're with other people that are passionate educators. And so they are learning from each other in addition to learning from the MIT group. And the MIT Club of Boston pays the tuition for local teachers to participate in this program. One of the ways that we're able to make these donations is by donations from area alums to the MIT Club of Boston SEP Fund. And you can find that on the MIT Giving website. So any gifts that anyone makes to that fund are used to support local teachers. And if there's not enough in the fund to support local teachers, the Club of Boston can make a decision to add additional money depending on how many teachers in any given year are interested in the program. Next slide, please. So this year is unusual because there was a cohort of teachers who were admitted to the program in the spring of 2020. And of course, we all know what happened in the spring of 2020. They did not have the opportunity to participate in person for the program. And they did have a mini virtual program, but that was not at all the same as actually participating on campus in the program. So the teachers who had been admitted in 2020 have been invited to come back this summer to have an in-person experience. And because most of them have accepted that opportunity, this year was unusual in that we were not able to open the program up to teachers newly applying for this year because we had this cohort of people from 2020 who were participating in the program. But usually new applications come out in early February. So if any of you know of local teachers who are passionate about what they do in the STEM area, who would benefit from this kind of experience, please keep an eye out in our newsletter in early February or get in touch with me to find out when the applications are available. The applications are then sent in to the SEP program, and we, for any teachers that are considered to be folks that the SEP program wants to admit, the MIT Club of Boston will pay for those teachers. Next slide, please. So this is just a photo of the people who are participating this year. These are the people that were originally accepted to the program in 2020. They participated in a mini virtual program then, but they will be participating in the live program this year. And so we're very pleased to actually be sponsoring 6 teachers this coming year who will have that experience and be able to bring what they learn about exciting ways to provide STEM educational experiences to students and bring it back to their respective schools. And I will point out that one of these teachers, Michael Dixon, is himself an MIT alum, but it's still a valuable experience to have their perspective of how to teach exciting things about STEM. So we're very happy to support these teachers. If anybody has any questions about the program, I invite you to contact me. I can be reached through the MIT Club of Boston website, and certainly happy to provide additional information. And I'd now like to turn the floor over to Sun Altbach and Monica Rogozinska.
Thanks, Bonnie. Can everyone hear me okay? All right. Good evening, everyone. My colleague Monica and I are delighted to share with you the vision and highlights of the upcoming Biosummit. So the Biosummit initiative is really built on the goal of inspiring and engaging the MIT community in a dialogue around critical and upcoming biomedical and technology topics that really bridges innovative science and human interest to make a positive impact on global health. And when I say global health, we are being very broad in the sense of global health that it spans human as well as eco-health. We envision this to be an annual event where we leverage the MIT community and leading industry experts to highlight novel biomedical technologies from the MIT Innovation District, as well as critical issues. So in essence, a platform to share insights, foster provocative discussion, encourage holistic understanding of a given topic or a theme for the year. Next slide, please. Of course, this grand initiative cannot be executed without the support of volunteers. So here I'd like to introduce you to an amazing group of volunteers overseeing the program planning, marketing, and sponsorship fundraising efforts. The Biosummit is co-chaired by Ryan and Monica, who's on the call today, who is also the Assistant VP of Special Programs. Our volunteers are passionate about the Biosummit initiative, going above and beyond to dedicate their time, talent, and sharing their vision and expertise. That said, we are always in need of more volunteers to make this a successful initiative. So we encourage you to think about the Biosummit event and consider joining this awesome team in making it a reality. So on that note, I will now hand it over to Monica, who will share with us some of the highlights of the inaugural summit and what's to come. Monica?
Yes, thank you so much, Sun. As Sun mentioned, everything happens thanks to a great group of volunteers, and we were very excited to organize this first inaugural summit. It's the first conference of that type organized by a club, and our overarching theme is the era of human and environmental sustainability. We will cover a lot of different topics, including climate change, creating sustainable companies, innovation, and longevity. The goal is to really, for the attendees, to come not only from MIT community, but also broadly from industry. So we're expecting industry executives at C-level and also director level. For the speakers, we're targeting both academic and industry leaders, industry innovators, entrepreneurs, and policymakers. We're planning to organize that first Biosummit in November 2022, and the format is going to be in person and remote, so it's going to be hybrid model. Next slide, please. We already did some social media scanning, and we were able to gather some feedback when it comes to the topics of interest. And the key, I would say, the most interesting topics were about living longer and healthier, also about emerging technologies such as AI and genomics, those technologies who improve human health. And also the biotech science, which helps to drive planetary health, and also creating responsible companies who are addressing eco-health holistically. So those are the keys, the key topics, and we're still working. Can I get next slide as well? Thank you. So we are working right now with the focus groups. We are in the process of organizing the focus groups to shape that agenda further. We also are in the process of identifying speakers and potential sponsors. And using this opportunity, I want to repeat Sun's request. We need more volunteers. And also please spread the word, because that's going to be a part of our success. Thank you so much. And now being said, I want to transition this to Nancy O'Hare, and she's going to talk about the scholarship fund and the 2022 recipient. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Monica. So I have the pleasure of introducing the scholarship fund. You heard it mentioned earlier in this slide presentation. And I want to talk to you about the fund performance that we saw up until June 2021. So you'll see this table I've tried to construct with all the important information to share with you. The money, the first category, the principal we have is $288,000, which represents the initial investment and additional donations that have come over time. As of June 2021, the market value was almost $1 million, which is quite good. We suspect lately that particular market value has declined as the stock market has been somewhat a little bit unstable recently. In terms of scholarships, it is great for you to know historically that we have given scholarships since 1985 when the fund began, and the total amount of money we've been able to give to date is $368,000. In the academic year 2021 to 2022, we were able to give approximately $27,000, and that goes to one student as part of a financial aid need-based package. It is also important for you to know that something like 70% of all undergraduate students at MIT receive some form of financial aid. As far as donations, there are two ways to donate to our fund. One is to donate directly to the fund, and we had 14 donors there, and those gifts amounted to approximately $3,800. The other way you can donate to our fund is via membership. And to that method of donating, we had 65 donors and approximately $5,000. The club also gives a discretionary gift from our budget of approximately $30,000 in this past year. Just a point of reference to see how it all comes together for the student. The annual cost to attend MIT as an undergraduate is approximately $77,000. So it's quite a lot to try and find support for our 70% of the student population to meet that number. Next slide, please. Our MIT Club of Boston Scholar is a young man, a first-generation college student from Lynn, Massachusetts. At present, he is undecided in his major. He has interest, though, in technology, and in high school, he participated in computer science, math team, and quiz bowl. He also did some community service in high school, which included working with food drives, playing bingo with elders. He said that he chose MIT because of the commitment to the careers of students, which is actually a very interesting reason. And he is now considering course 614, Computer Science, Economics, and Data Science. So something new this year, through the collaboration of several of my colleagues in the MIT Club of Boston, I was able to exchange with our student over email. And I asked him several questions, and I would like to read his answers to you. So my first question I asked was, in general, how was your year at MIT? He was a freshman this year. And he answered, my first year at MIT was like a roller coaster. A lot of high moments, a lot of low moments. It took some time adjusting to an environment as fast-paced and as rigorous as this. But through the many support channels available at MIT and making new friends, I was able to succeed and finish the year out strong. My second question was, what surprised you this year at MIT? He answered, what surprised me about MIT, or really about college in general, was the large amount of people, all with different personalities and interests. Despite coming from a really diverse background, MIT made me realize how small my world was before college. And then my last question, what did you find interesting at MIT? What I found interesting at MIT was all the different paths that can be taken here. At MIT, students can study whatever they're interested in and make a career out of it, even if their passions are polar opposites to each other. I believe that MIT's way of teaching its students to think deeply and critically allow for new and brilliant ideas at the intersection between different fields of study. Next slide, please. So the role of the fund, as you've heard, is to financially assist students at MIT as part of an overall financial aid package. Generally, our fund supports one scholar each year. However, we do have a goal to try and increase the number of students that we can support. And at this time, we'd just like to thank you for supporting our scholars. Your gift really helps support their dreams. Now I'd like to pass this agenda to Heather, who will talk about recognizing our outstanding volunteers.
Thank you, Nancy. Good evening, everyone. My name is Heather Zhou, and I work with Joanna London in volunteer development and recognition function. So I'm very excited to announce this year's recognized outstanding volunteers and also recognition of all of our volunteers. First, for the outstanding volunteers, we have Nancy O'Hare and the communication team, including Gayatri, Arian, Mark Weiss, Flora Su, and Gretchen Schaffman. So the communications team, they played a crucial and fabulous role in running the communication function with the impact of the ongoing pandemic for the MIT Club of Boston. The entire communication team works just like beavers. They work every week to create content and promotional information so the events and opportunities can be delivered to our members timely, including affiliated events. To name a few, Gayatri has designed the newsletter feature Useful Voices this year and publishing 4 pieces both in written and audio form. Gretchen is our newest team member. He had taken charge of email writing. And Flora has expanded the MIT Club of Boston on social media. And Mark has completed the cutover to the new website from the old website with new and updated features. Congratulations to the outstanding communication team. Thank you for making this thank you for all the incredible hard work and also make all the members of the club stay connected. Next slide, please. Next, I have Carol Tuagi. Carol leads monthly book club events, and she started last year for the club. So she picks up books that's relevant, important, and enjoyable to read. For example, one book is Unsettled, what climate science tells us, what it doesn't, and why it matters. She also organized a club discussion event with the author, Stephen Cooney. So the book club activities, including discussions and conversations, received extremely positive feedbacks. For Carol's extraordinary contributions to the monthly book club, Carol is recognized as an outstanding volunteer in this year. Thank you, Carol. Next, we have Peter Sexton. Peter runs MIT Club of Boston Dining Club. He organized monthly dining events so members, their families, and friends can meet and try varieties of different cuisines and talk, connect. So the moment you get into the dining event, you just would feel like, wow, I come back home. It's the family. And also, it's exciting to have MIT banner on. Peter also organized midweek skiing events. Peter, you put a smile on people's face and it make a difference. We applaud Peter. Next slide, please. Next, we have Tony Galadis. Tony helps Diane with the monthly MIT Club of Boston hiking events. The monthly hiking events are easy to moderate hikings, and it's fun for most of the club members to join. For example, they did a Newbury Old Town Hill hike with photography. And Tony is recognized for his great work on organizing hikes for the outdoor enrichment programs. Tony, thank you so much for your dedications and all you do to the hiking events that bring fun for the club members. Next, we have Lindo Custer. Lindo works with Dana in podcast program division. The podcast group has produced over 5,000 downloads in this year. And Lindo also goes above and beyond the podcast to cover other activities across the club, such as the Biosummit that Sun has talked about. So Lindo is recognized as an outstanding volunteer for this year. Next, here's the special program team. So we have Sun Outback, Lindo Custer, Dana Attar, Monica Rogazinska, Harini Sundaram, and Ryan Robinson. Sun and the special programs team, they expanded the highly successful Inside the Dome program, which showcasing MIT's key strategic initiatives of the year to the alumni community. And they brought new and innovative advancements into the greater Boston area. And they are recognized for dedicating their time and energy to go above and beyond. And also the efforts they continue to do after our annual meeting. Next, the final one in our outstanding volunteers list for this year is Natalia Olive. Natalia has been serving MIT Club of Boston for a long time. In her most recent role, she runs the treasury function and oversees the finance division. She also serves as an executive member of the club. Among all these functions under her care, she is the go-to person to give directions, clarity, and comfort to the volunteers and members. And my personal experience with Natalia is that I just feel like so fortunate and happy to be able to have the opportunity to serve the MIT Club of Boston. So that level of awesome feeling that she just naturally have. So for her long-term dedication and the contribution and the leadership to the club, Natalia actually has been selected to receive the Harold E. Lobdell 17 Distinguished Service Award in honor of her sustained dedication in service to the Alumni Association and the Institute. Natalia, we're just so proud of you and thank you for representing the service spirit of the club. With that, it's our tradition to recognize all volunteers for this year. There are 59 volunteers who helped with events, work, and obviously, there are many volunteers who helped with multiple events. So not just one. Here we just listed each person once. And we want to say it's your passion, dedication, and efforts that make MIT Club of Boston another year of success. And keep up with the great work. So with that, I turn it back to Bernard.
Hi, I just want to take this opportunity for thanking you all to join us today. Thanking all the volunteers who have made a successful years of the past and continue to build a better future for us. And I would love to invite more and more of you to join our effort and provide us with feedback, support, and I will one more time, thanks for your times today, and we will continue to work hard for the local alum base moving forward. Thank you very much for joining us today. Take care. Bye-bye.